Hi, welcome back to Then and Now. I'm Julian Zelizer of The Long View.
And I'm Jonathan Alter of Old Goats.
So today we're taking a look back at Dick Cheney in 2008, and obviously many people watched the service for Dick Cheney in 2025, who just passed away. And I was thinking back to 2008 when then Vice President Cheney was an extraordinarily controversial figure. There were three elements of his vice presidency that had really stirred American politics. The first was how he had championed and promoted executive power in the war on terrorism after 9/11, including in ways that violated international human rights with enhanced interrogation slash torture. The second element that was controversial was the war in Iraq, which was hugely unpopular with the nation, and by 2008 really was dragging down the administration. And finally, he had been often forgotten, a principal player in deregulation here at home of fossil fuel production, and an opponent at the time of a lot of climate change. He had headed a commission for the administration in the first year that secretly worked on this. His popularity, John, was 30% in 2007, 60% disapproved. And finally, not only did Democrats dislike him at the time, but many Republicans disliked the administration. You can argue created a path for Donald Trump's presidency. So it's a dramatic sign, thinking about him, of how the party has changed and where it's moved, and the pivotal role of the Bush administration in that transformation. What do you think?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, he's going to be remembered as the most powerful vice president in American history. And we've just, scratched the surface of some of the damage that he did on another matter of great importance. He said at one point internally, but it got out, deficits don't matter. And remember, Bill Clinton left George W. Bush with a balanced budget. And the enormous fiscal irresponsibility of the 21st century owes a lot to George W. Bush and Dick Cheney. So if you add all of that up, it's a very, I think, a very bad record in government. And if you look at, the way we judge presidents and vice presidents, you have to weight it more toward what they did when they had power than to what they did after leaving office. This is why I've always argued that, people should focus more on the good things that Jimmy Carter did as president than on what he did after leaving office. But having said that, Cheney, while he supported Trump in 2016, in some ways redeemed himself, or at least part of himself, by passing the great character test of our generation, which is Donald Trump. And he stood up strongly against Trump, especially after January 6th, and then, ended up voting for Kamala Harris, which would have been unthinkable when you try to conjure the old Dick Cheney, and Rachel Maddow went to his funeral. So, we're talking about a figure who will be, I think, judged with a measure of deserved complexity when historians start to, pick up on this in a serious way.
I think that's right. Well, that's Then and Now, and great talking to you, and we'll talk again next week.
Yeah. Bye, Julie.
Bye.